Hi viewers, so welcome back to the channel. So in the previous video we have discussed about exercise 2.1 related to linear equation in one variable. So in this particular exercise we are going to learn the word problems related to this chapter, and each word problem will follow different approach, right? So whatever the things that we have learned in our previous classes, so we are making use of those particular things. Right, in exercise 2.2 the first question is, so find the value of x. So we need to find the value of x from each and every figure. So this is nothing but the first question. So in this question we are given with a triangle ABC in which two interior angles are given and one exterior angle is given. So we need to recall the concept of triangles, so in which we have exterior angle and two opposite interior angles. So from this what we can say is, so simply exterior angle is equal to sum of opposite interior angles. So this is nothing but the concept behind this problem to solve, right? So from this what I can say, exterior angle value is nothing but 123 degrees is equal to sum of opposite interior angles. So opposite interior angles are nothing but 56 and x. So from this what I am going to get, so 56 plus x. So now since we need to find out the value of x, so we need to transpose this 56 to the other side. So from this what I am going to get, so 123 degrees minus 56 degrees is equal to x. From this on simplification, so what we are going to get the value of x, so from 3 we need to subtract 6, so we can't subtract 6 from 3, so we need to take a borrow. So this becomes 13 minus 6 is nothing but 7. Next, so when we have taken borrow, this 12 becomes 11, so 11 minus 5 is nothing but 6. So the value of x is nothing but 67 degrees. Next, coming to the next problem. If you observe this figure, this is nothing but a triangle. So in triangle we know that sum of interior angles is equal to 180 degrees, right? So what is the name of the triangle? So triangle PQR. So the interior angles are nothing but angle P, angle Q and angle R. So if you add all those angles, so which are nothing but angle P plus angle Q plus angle R is equal to how much? 180 degrees. Since we know sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, so by using this particular concept we are gonna solve this problem, right? So what is the value of P? So on substituting the values, so 45 degrees plus 3x plus 16 degrees plus 68 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Now we need to simplify this. So since these all are numbers, so we can directly add them, right? 60 plus 10 70, 70 plus 40 is nothing but 110. So 110 plus 5 115, 121, 129. So 3x plus 129 is equal to 180 degrees. So you can easily add them up, right? So likewise you can easily add them up. So from this 3x is equal to what we are going to get, since this is plus, if you transpose it becomes minus. So 180 degrees minus 129 degrees. So 129 is near to 130, so 180 minus 130 is nothing but 50. So it is 1 less, right? So it becomes 51 degrees. So 3x is equal to 51 degrees. So x is equal to 51 degrees by 3. So in 3 table 51. So 3 ones are 3, 3 sevens are 21. So the value of x is 17 degrees, right? Next, coming to the next question. So it is nothing but the same as the previous question, right? Now clearly if you observe this figure, it looks like an obtuse angle triangle. That means this value of x will be greater than 90 degrees. Now again we can apply the same concept. Sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. So on substituting the values, so 25 degrees plus x degrees plus 30 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So 25 plus 30 is nothing but 55. So x plus 55 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So from this x degrees is equal to 180 degrees minus 55 degrees. So from this what we are going to get? So 180 minus 55 is nothing but 125 degrees. So is this angle greater than 90 degrees? Yes. So since it is an obtuse angle triangle, so the value of x is 125 degrees. Right? Moving on to the next question. So question number 4. So here if you observe this particular triangle, so this is nothing but triangle XYZ. So in which what he has given, side XY is equal to side XZ. So in a triangle, if two sides are equal, then we call the triangle as isosceles triangle. So in an isosceles triangle, two sides are equal, then automatically the angles opposite to those sides are also equal. So that means, so from this what I can say, angle Y is equal to angle Z. Angle Y is equal to angle Z. So what is angle Y given? So it is given as 2x plus 7 degrees, which is equal to angle Z is nothing but 45 degrees. So from this 2x is equal to 45 degrees minus 7 degrees. Right? So what is the value of 45 degrees minus 7 degrees? It is nothing but 38 degrees. So 2x is equal to 38 degrees. So x is equal to 38 degrees divided by 2, which is nothing but 19 degrees. So the value of x here is 19 degrees. Right? So here the basic idea behind this problem is isosceles triangle. In an isosceles triangle, the side, so angles opposite to equal sides are equal. Right? So moving on to the next question. So here we are given with two triangles, triangle ABO and triangle COD. And in this triangle if you observe, so in triangle AOB, so what is given? Side AB is equal to side AO. So whenever side AB is equal to side AO, that means this particular triangle is an isosceles triangle. So if this is isosceles triangle, then the angles opposite to these bases are equal. That means angle B is equal to, what I can say, angle B is equal to angle BOA. I can write it as angle B is equal to angle BOA. So from this 3x plus 10 degrees is equal to angle BOA. So angle BOA is nothing but 3x plus 10 degrees. Next, if you observe this line BD and AC are intersecting at this particular point O. That means this angle and this angle are vertically opposite angles. So those two angles are vertically opposite angles. Already we know that vertically opposite angles are equal. So vertically opposite angles are equal. So from this what I can say, this particular angle is nothing but 3x plus 10 degrees. This angle value is nothing but 3x plus 10 degrees. Now if you observe this particular triangle, triangle COD, right? So what he has given, these two sides are equal. So when these two sides are equal, that means this triangle COD is an isosceles triangle. So in isosceles triangle what I can say, so these two angles are equal, right? So what are those two angles then? So if this is 3x plus 10 degrees, then this angle is also 3x plus 10 degrees. So from this what have you got? 3x plus 10 degrees, 3x plus 10 degrees and 2x. So these three are nothing but the angles of this triangle COD. But what do we know? Sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees, right? That means if you add all these three angles, so 3x plus 10 degrees plus 3x plus 10 degrees plus 2x degrees. So if you add all these, we are going to get 180 degrees, right? Next, what we are going to do is we are going to add all the like terms. So 3x plus 3x is nothing but 6x, 6x plus 3x is nothing but 8x. So this value is 8x plus 10 plus 10 is nothing but 20. So 8x plus 20 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So which implies 8x is equal to 180 degrees minus 20 degrees, because we are having plus 20 here, so that if you transpose it becomes minus 20. So 180 degrees minus 20 degrees is nothing but 160 degrees. So from this 8x is equal to 160 degrees. So from this x is equal to 160 degrees divided by 8. So 160 divided by 8 gives you 20 degrees. The value of x is 20. So from this what I can say? The value of x is equal to 20. Right? So this is nothing but the answer for this particular question. So all these problems are related to the geometry. Right? Next, we are going into the word problems. See this question. So what is given? The difference between two numbers is 8. The difference between two numbers is 8. So while solving the word problems, we need to keep in mind that whatever the given sentence, we need to read it carefully, right? So first read the question. The difference between two numbers is 8. The difference between two numbers is 8. If 2 is added to the bigger number, the result will be 3 times the smaller number. So we need to find the numbers. And one more thing you need to remember here. So this particular chapter is related to linear equation in one variable, so we need to make use of only one variable, right? So the difference between two numbers is 8. Now let us see the solution. So how to solve this? Difference between two numbers is 8. That means what I am going to consider is, I am going to consider, let two numbers are x and x plus 8, x and x plus 8. If you see the difference, so this is 8 greater than this particular number, right? That means the difference between these two numbers is 8. So you can take x and x minus 8 also. So we can take either way. So I am considering likewise x and x plus 8. So obviously among these two numbers, so this will be my largest number, right? Because for this x I am adding 8. So this is my largest number. Next, what he has given, if 2 is added to the bigger number, so to this bigger number if I add 2, so what will I get? So for this x plus 8, if I add 2, then the result, so this particular value will be equal to, so what he has given, the result will be 3 times the smaller number. So 3 times the smaller number, that means 3 into x, right? So this is nothing but my equation which I obtained by reading this question, right? Now let us simplify this. So x plus 8 plus 2 is nothing but 10. So x plus 10 is equal to 3 times of x is nothing but 3x. Now to simplify this, what I need to do is I need to transpose the like terms to one side. So here x is there, so that x I have transposed. So from this 10 is equal to 3x. Already this is nothing but plus x, so if I transpose that plus x, it becomes minus x. So 3x minus 2x is nothing but, so 3x minus x is nothing but 2x. So from this x is equal to 10 divided by 2, which is nothing but 5. So from this what I can say, what are my numbers? X and x plus 8, right? Now what is the value of x? So from this x is equal to 5, obviously x plus 8 is nothing but 5 plus 8, which gives me 13. Now once verify this whether what you have got is correct or not. So this is my bigger number, no? So to this bigger number if I add 2, so 13 plus 2 is nothing but 15. So 15 is nothing but 3 times of 5 only, no? So it is being satisfied, right? So whatever the answer that we got is correct. So what are the numbers? So the numbers are 5 and 8, sorry, 5 and 13. Okay, next coming to question number 3. Now read the question carefully. So understand the question carefully, then automatically you are going to get the problem, right? Now let us see the solution. So what he has given, sum is 58. So there are two numbers whose sum is 58 and the difference is 28. So we are going to solve this problem by considering difference first. So what I am going to consider is, let the numbers are x and x plus 28. So always I am going to consider as plus only, so that I may not get confused, right? So if I consider one number as x, automatically the other number will be x plus 28. If you take the difference of these two, obviously you are going to get 28 as the difference. Okay, now this is the consideration which I have taken from this difference. Now I am going to solve for this. What he has given, sum is 58. No, what is meant by sum? Sum is nothing but addition of these two numbers. So sum is nothing but addition of those two numbers. So that means x plus 28 is equal to 58. Now what is the value of x plus x? So x plus x is nothing but 2x plus 28 is equal to 58. Now this is nothing but a constant number. I need to transpose. So then what I am going to get, 2x is equal to 58 minus 28. So what is the value of 58 minus 28? It is nothing but 30. So from this 2x is equal to 30, x is equal to 30 by 2. So 30 by 2 is nothing but 15. Then what are the numbers? So the numbers are x is equal to 15 and x plus 28, which is nothing but 15 plus 28. So which is nothing but 43. So the numbers are 15 and 43. So if you check, 15 plus 43 will give you 58 and 43 minus 15 is nothing but 28. Here difference means we need to take subtraction of smaller number from bigger number. Okay, so difference means always you need to consider the value from smaller bigger number to the smaller number, right? Let us see the next question. See, the sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 56. Sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 56. So we need to find out the numbers. Now here you are going to learn one more concept. Two consecutive odd numbers. So what is the meaning of consecutive? So first of all, consecutive means nothing but side by side numbers. Here we are told about consecutive odd numbers. So consecutive odd numbers means nothing but, so if 3 is one odd number, then its consecutive odd number is obtained by adding 2 to it. That means the next consecutive odd or even number can be obtained by adding 2 to the given number. Now for suppose if I consider x as one of the numbers, then automatically x plus 2 will be its consecutive even number or odd number. So in both the cases, these can be taken as consecutive odd numbers or consecutive even numbers. So we can easily understand from examples, right? So if I take 2, and what is the next even number that we are going to get? 4. Next even number 6. So that means on adding plus 2, then we are going to get the next consecutive number. Likewise for odd numbers also the same situation, 1, 3, 5. So if you want to get the consecutive of these 3, I need to add 2. That means, so whenever I consider a number as x, then obviously its consecutive odd number or even number will be x plus 2. Now the numbers are x and x plus 2. Now what he has given, sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 56. That means on adding these two numbers, so x plus 2 is equal to 56, right? So this is nothing but the equation which I obtained from this question. Now x plus x is nothing but 2x. So 2x plus 2 is equal to 56. Now since this is a number, so I can transpose. So 2x is equal to 56 minus 2. So 56 minus 2 is nothing but 54. So what I got here? So 2x is equal to 54. So x is equal to 54 divided by 2. So 54 divided by 2 is nothing but 27. Now from this what I can say, one of the numbers is 27 and its consecutive number. So its consecutive number is nothing but x plus 2, which is nothing but 27 plus 2, which gives you 29, right? Now if you verify, 27 plus 29 is nothing but 56. Now some may have a doubt, so I should consider only x and x plus 2. So if you want, you can consider it as x minus 2 and x also. So while considering the two consecutive numbers as x minus 2 and x, you are going to get the same answer. Okay, next, moving on to the next question. The sum of three consecutive multiples of 7 is 777. The sum of, that means addition of three consecutive multiples of 7. Three consecutive multiples of 7. So for this you need to understand the concept. So if I ask to find out multiples of 2, so multiples of 2 means you will be writing 2, 4, 6 or 4, 6, 8 likewise. That means what is the difference between any two consecutive numbers? It is nothing but, so whatever the multiple that we are considering, that difference is being carried forwarded. The same way here we have three consecutive multiples of 7. That means if I consider one number as x, then automatically the next number will be x plus 7 and the next number will be x plus 7 plus 7. If I consider x as one of the numbers, then x plus 7 will be my next number, and for that if I add one more 7, then I am going to get the consecutive multiple of 7. So from this what I can say, x plus 7 and x plus 14 are nothing but my three consecutive multiples of 7. If I add these three, he has told that sum of these three consecutive multiples of 7 is 777. So here what the thing you need to understand is, so if he says multiples of 7, then for this x, so 7s will be added one after the other. Likewise if you are having multiples of 2, that means you will be considering x plus 2, x plus 2 plus 2, right? Now on simplifying this, so what is the condition given? If I add these three, so x plus 7 plus x plus 14 is equal to 777. Now on adding x, so we are having 3 x's plus 7 plus 14 is nothing but 21 is equal to 777. Now from this 3x is equal to 777 minus 21. Now 777 minus 21, so 7 minus 1 6, so 7 minus 2 5, so this is 7, which is nothing but 3x. So from this x is equal to 756 divided by 3. Now what I am going to get? So in 3 tables, so 3 2s are 6, so 1 will be left, 15, so 3 5s are 15, next 3 2s are 6. Now what is the value of x? So x is nothing but 252. So from this what I can say? The numbers are 252, and for that if I add 7, then it becomes 259, and for this if I add 7, I am going to get the next number, so which is nothing but 266. So these three are nothing but my numbers, so which are the 3 consecutive multiples of 7, which will add up to 777. So if you add these 3, then you are going to get the sum as 777. So this is one approach. So if you want to do it in a simple way, so there is one more approach, so which you can follow, right? So if you consider, since he is saying 3 consecutive multiples of 7, no? So if I consider the middle number as x, and its next number will be x plus 7, and its previous number will be x minus 7. So likewise also you can consider x minus 7, x and x plus 7. So on adding these 3, what you are going to get? Minus 7 and plus 7 gets cancelled. Directly I am going to get 3x is equal to 777. So from this x is equal to 777 divided by 3. So which gives me, so 3 2s are 6. So how much is left? 1. So 17. So 17. So it gets cancelled 5 times. So 15. So I am left with 2. So 27. So 3 9s are 27. That means I got the same value. So this is nothing but 259. If I subtract 7 from this, I am going to get 252. If I add 7 to this particular x, I am going to get 266. So using this approach, you can easily get the value. So this particular approach is followed when 3 consecutive are, so mostly when you are getting odd consecutive multiples. So likewise, like 3 consecutive multiples or 5 consecutive multiples or 7 consecutive multiples. So in such cases you can apply this particular approach, so which brings the answer in an easier way, right? So this approach is also correct, and this also gives you the same answer. Okay, right? Next, moving on to the next question. So what he has given, so this particular problem is related to speed and distance. Speed and distance problem. So a man walks 10 kilometers, then he travels a certain distance by a train and then by bus as far as twice of the train. If the whole journey is of 70 kilometers, how far did he travel? So here we have 3 particular ways of travel. So first he walked, next he took a train and he traveled, next he traveled by bus. So first of all, he traveled by walking 10 kilometers, next then travels a certain distance. So do we know the distance? Since we don't know the distance, so let us consider that particular distance as x kilometers. So whatever the unknown that we need to find, so we are going to consider it as x. Next, what he has given, then he traveled by bus as far as by the train. That means by bus he traveled twice as of the train. So twice of the train. So by train he traveled x kilometers. That means by bus he has to travel twice of that. So twice of that means it is nothing but 2x kilometers. Now the whole journey. So if you observe this, so this is nothing but a distance, this is also a distance, and this is also a distance which he has traveled. What he has given, if the whole journey is of 70 kilometers, that means he traveled totally 70 kilometers distance. That means we need to add all these 3. So from this what I am going to get? So 10 kilometers plus x kilometers plus 2x kilometers, so it will give you 70 kilometers, right? Now this is nothing but the equation which I am going to obtain for this question. Now 2x plus x is nothing but 3x. Now transposing this 10 to the other side, then what I am going to get? 70 minus 10. So the value of 70 minus 10 is 60. So from this x is equal to 60 divided by 3, so which gives me 20 kilometers. So from this what I can say? By train he traveled 20 kilometers and by bus he traveled 2 into 20, which is nothing but 40 kilometers. So these are nothing but the distances traveled by that person by train as well as bus. Okay, next coming to one more problem which is related to the weights. What he has given, Vinay bought a pizza. So Vinay bought a pizza and he cut it into 3 pieces. So he has cut into 3 pieces. When he weighted the first piece, so he has weighted, right? So by means of any scale he has weighted it and he found that it is 7 grams lighter than the second pizza. So it is 7 grams lighter than second piece and 4 grams heavier than the third piece. 4 grams heavier than the third piece. So what he is saying, so he is taking both the things with respect to first piece only. So with respect to first piece, so the first piece is 7 grams lighter than the second piece and the first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece, right? Now if the whole pizza weighted 300 grams, so the weight of the pizza is 300 grams. Now I need to find out how much of the weight each piece weighs, right? Now let us see the question carefully. What he has given, the first piece is 7 grams lighter than the second piece. So whenever you are going to solve a problem related to this, if anything is compared with some other thing, so first of all we need to consider the some other thing as the unknown variable. So here the first piece is compared with the second piece. So what I am going to do is I am going to consider the weight of second piece as x. The weight of second piece as x unit, so x grams. If weight of second piece is x grams, then clearly from this what I can say, first piece weight is nothing but x minus 7. Why? Because so first piece is 7 grams lighter than the second piece, no? Since second piece is x, so obviously first piece will become x minus 7. Next, first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece. So first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece. Now if you read it in reverse way, so first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece, means third piece is 4 grams lighter than first piece only, no? Understood? So if first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece, that means third piece is 4 grams lesser than first piece, right? So 4 grams lesser than first piece means, so this is my first piece weight, and for that if I subtract, sorry, not 3, it is 4, so it is, so x minus 7 minus 4, so which gives you x minus 11 grams. Now these are nothing but my weights of 3 pieces, and what he has given, he has given that the total pizza weighs 30 grams. That means on adding all these 3, x plus x minus 7 plus x minus 11 is equal to 300 grams. X plus x is nothing but 3x minus 11 minus 7 minus 11 is nothing but minus 18 is equal to 300. So from this 3x is equal to 300. So if I transpose this minus 18, it becomes plus 18. So 3x is equal to 318. So from this, what I am going to get, x is equal to 318 divided by 3. So which gives me, so 3 ones are 3. So since I can't cancel this one, so 0, and in 3 table 6 times 18. So x is equal to 106 grams. So what is x here? So second piece is 106 grams. So this is nothing but 106 grams. And first piece, so first piece is x minus 7. So which is nothing but 106 minus 7, which gives me 99 grams. So the value of this is 99 grams. Next, x minus 11. So third piece weight is x minus 11. So x is nothing but 106. 106 minus 11 is nothing but 95 grams. So if I add all these three, so what I am going to get? So 9 plus 5, 14. 14 plus 6 is 0. Next, so directly I am going to get, so from this first piece is 99 grams, second piece is 106 grams, and third piece is 95 grams. So likewise, everything lies in the words. So you need to understand the words, and you need to represent them in the form of expression, right? So I think this is a little complicated problem. So once again, so we shall see. Here the first piece is compared with the second piece, so we need to consider the second piece as x. Then obviously we are going to get the first piece as x minus 7. Next, again he has compared first piece with the third piece. So first piece is 4 grams heavier than the third piece. That means third piece will be 4 grams lighter than the first piece. So we need to go in reverse order. Then I am going to get the third piece value as x minus 11. And he has given the weight of the pizza is nothing but 300 grams. So from this clearly I can take the sum of those three parts as 300 grams. So on solving that, we got x is equal to 106 grams. Then automatically we are going to get the remaining two parts as well. Next, question number 8. Now this particular problem is related to perimeters and areas, right? So we are going to have different types of questions. Now let us see this question, question number 8. So if you observe the question, the distance around the rectangular field is 400 meters. So what is meant by distance around? Distance around means nothing but, so what is meant by distance around? So distance around means nothing but perimeter. So he has given in the other words. So distance around the rectangular field means nothing but the perimeter of the rectangular field is 400 meters. And he has given the length of the field. The length of the field is 26 more than the breadth. 26 more than the breadth. So here you can clearly understand that length is compared with the breadth. Length is compared with the breadth. So whenever comparison comes, so you need to write the thing which is being compared first, right? Now here length is being compared with the breadth. So first of all we need to consider breadth. So you need to understand this carefully. See, breadth is, so let this be some x, then automatically length will become, so length of the field is 26 more, no? So more means nothing but addition. So length will be x plus 26 meters. Next, what he has given, perimeter of rectangular field. So perimeter is nothing but, what is the formula of perimeter of rectangle? It is nothing but 2 times of L plus B, which is given as 400 meters. Since I know the values of length and breadth, so I am going to substitute in this. So 2 times of L, what is length? Length is nothing but x plus 26 plus what is breadth? Breadth is nothing but x, which is equal to 400. Now this 2 in 400 it gets cancelled. 200 times inside the bracket we are having 2x plus 26. is equal to 200. So from this 2x is equal to 200 minus 26. So what is the value of 200 minus 26? It is nothing but 174, which is nothing but 2x. So from this x is equal to 174 divided by 2. So in 2 table, 2 8s are 16, 2 7s are 14. So x is equal to 87 meters. So what is x here? So x is nothing but breadth, no? So this breadth is nothing but 87 meters. So obviously length is nothing but 87 plus 26. So 80 plus 20 is nothing but 100. 100 plus, so 7 plus 6 is 13. So 113 meters. So from this we got length and breadth of the given question, right? Next, one more question related to this particular areas and perimeters. Now the length of the rectangular field is 8 meters less than twice its breadth. Here also the same thing, length is being compared with breadth. Length is being compared with breadth. So whenever there is a comparison, so first of all, whatever to which we are comparing, we need to consider that as x. So here with whom we are comparing, we need to consider that value as x. Then automatically we are going to get the other value. So what will be the length? Length is nothing but 8 meters less. 8 meters less means minus 8. 8 meters less means minus 8 than twice its breadth. So already breadth I have taken as x. So automatically twice its breadth means 2x. So this is nothing but my length. So if breadth is x, automatically length will be 2x minus 8. Next, what he has given? Perimeter. So already in the previous problem we have done. So 2 times of LB is nothing but equal to what he has given, 56. So in 2 table 56, it gets cancelled 28 times. So what is length here? So length is nothing but 2x minus 8 plus breadth is nothing but x here. So is equal to 28. So 2x plus x is nothing but 3x. This minus 8, if I transpose, it becomes plus 8. So 28 plus 8. So 28 plus 8 is nothing but 36. So x is equal to 36 divided by 3, which gives you 12. So the value of x is 12. So from this what I can say? Breadth is 12 meters and length is 2 into 12 minus 8. So what is the value of 2 into 12? It is 24 minus 8, which is nothing but 16 meters. So breadth is 12 meters and length is 16 meters. Here after finding the value, you need to write the units. Here the units are very important, right? Next, moving on to the next question. So question number 10. Two equal sides of a triangle are each 5 meters less than twice the third side. So here I am having two equal sides of a triangle. Now for this, what I am going to do is I am going to consider a triangle, right? In this triangle I am having two equal sides and this is nothing but my third side, and he has mentioned that these two equal sides of the triangle are being compared with the third side. If I consider this third side as x, then automatically I am going to get the remaining two sides, right? Since the remaining two sides are equal, then I am going to get the solution, right? Now to find out the value of these sides of the length of sides of triangle, so first of all what I am going to do is I am going to consider the third side as x. So the third side of x is x meters. Now he has given the remaining two sides. So from this what I can say, I can directly take those equal sides. So equal sides are nothing but 5 meters less. So 5 meters less means I can write it as minus 5, right? So 5 meters less than twice the third side. So since I have considered the third side as x, So it is nothing but 2x minus 5. So this is meters. Now what he has given, if the perimeter of triangle is 55 meters. So what is meant by perimeter? Perimeter is nothing but sum of sides. So sum of sides is nothing but perimeter of the triangle. So directly if I add all these three, then what I am going to get? X plus, since this side is, so the two sides are equal, then directly I can take it as 2 times of 2x minus 5 is equal to 55 meters. Now from this x plus 2 into 2 is nothing but 4x, again 2 into minus 5, it is nothing but minus 10 is equal to 55. So x plus 4x is nothing but 5x is equal to minus 10. If I transpose, it becomes plus 10. So 55 plus 10, which gives me 65. So from this x is equal to 65 divided by 5. So 65 divided by 5 is nothing but 13. So from this, what I can say, the length of sides, the sides lengths are, one is 13 and the equal sides are 2 into 13 minus 5, which is nothing but 21 meters. So that means the sides are 13 meters, 21 meters and 21 meters. So these are nothing but the sides of the given triangle. Right. Next, moving on to the next question. Question number 11. So he has given two complementary angles differ by 12 degrees. Two complementary angles differ by 12 degrees. So what is the meaning of complementary angles? So here one more condition we need to learn. So two complementary angles differ by 12 degrees. Right. So what is meant by complementary angle? So if an angle is x, then the other angle is 90 degrees minus x. So if one angle is x, then the 90 minus x is its complementary angle. The same way here itself we are going to learn one more. So if one angle is x and 180 minus x is its supplementary angle, so we call this as supplementary. Since we got the concept of complementary, so we are discussing about supplementary also. So whenever you are having complementary, you need to consider the angles as x and 90 minus x, whereas if you are having supplementary angles, then you need to consider them as x and 180 minus x. Since here we have complementary angles, now what he has given, so those two angles are differ by 12 degrees, right? Those two angles are differ by 12 degrees. So that means the difference of these two angles is 12 degrees. So difference means I need to take minus. So x minus of 90 minus x is equal to 12 degrees. Now from this what I am going to get? X. So this minus I need to multiply with these two terms separately. So minus into 90 is nothing but minus 90 degrees. Minus of minus will give you plus is equal to 12 degrees. So from this x plus x gives you 2x, and this minus 90 degrees, if I transpose, it becomes plus 90 degrees. So 90 degrees plus 12 is nothing but 102 degrees. So from this x is equal to 102 degrees by 2, which is nothing but 51 degrees. So the value of x is 51, automatically 90 minus x. So 90 minus 51 is nothing but 39. So the angles are 51 degrees and the other angle is, so 90 minus 51, which is nothing but 39 degrees. So these two are nothing but the two complementary angles we have here. Now let us move on to the next question. So question number 12. So it is given that the ages of Rahul and Lakshmi are in the ratio 5:7. So 4 years later, the sum of their ages will be 56 years. So 4 years later. So this is nothing but a problem related to ages, right? So whenever you are solving a problem related to ages, so always you need to consider the things in present age only. So if you are going to the past, then we need to subtract the value. When you are going into the future, you need to add the value to the present age, right? Now what he has given, so the ages of Rahul and Lakshmi are in the ratio 5:7. So always you need to consider the present ages. So first of all, present age of Rahul. So whenever you are having ratio, if you want to write them individually, so you need to multiply with some constant. So here Rahul's age is 5 and Lakshmi's age is 7 times of some particular value. That means we can say that present age of Rahul is some 5 times of x. Then automatically the present age of Lakshmi will be 7x. So these are nothing but the present ages of Rahul and Lakshmi, right? 4 years later. So 4 years later means, see, for suppose if present age is 10 years, after 4 years what will be the age? So that means what we are going to do, we are simply adding, right? So that means after 4 years the age will be 14. Likewise here also after 4 years. So after 4 years. So after 4 years means we are going into future. So future means we need to do addition, right? So after 4 years, what I can say? Age of Rahul. So to his present age, 4 years will be added up. So that means it becomes 5x plus 4. The same way, age of Lakshmi. The age of Lakshmi will be 7x plus 4. Now what he has given, their ages after 4 years, if their sum is considered, it will be equal to 56. That means on adding these values, that means 5x plus 4 plus 7x plus 4 is equal to 56. So 5x plus 7x is nothing but 12x. 12x plus 4 is nothing but 8, which gives you 56. So from this, 12x is equal to 56 minus 8. So 12x is nothing but equal to 56 minus 8 is nothing but 48. So x is equal to 48 divided by 12, which gives me 4. So the value of x is 4. Now I need to find out their present ages, right? So present ages. So what is the present age of Rahul then? So Rahul's present age is 5 times of x. So 5 times of x is nothing but 5 into the value of x is 4, which gives me 20 years. So the age of present age of Rahul is nothing but, so this is present age of Rahul. The same way, present age of Lakshmi. So I can write it as 7x. So 7x is nothing but 7 into 4. So which gives me 28 years. So the present age of Lakshmi is 28 years. So if we take the ratio, so 20 by 28. So 20 by 28 means, so in 4 table this is 5 times and this is 7 times. So likewise on solving the problem we are going to get their present ages. Next, one more question. So this question is related to multiple choice type, so test type exam question. So these type of question you are already done in the chapter of integers in your 7th class, right? Now let us see the question. So read it carefully, then you can easily understand. So there are 180 multiple choice question in a test. So in the test he has given that there are totally 180 questions. A candidate gets 4 marks for every correct answer. That means he will get 4 marks when he attempts it correctly. Next, for every unattempted question and or wrongly answered question, if he leaves any question, then he won't get a mark, and if he wrongly writes also he will have 1 mark deduction. So 1 mark deduction means he will get negative mark, right? So if you don't attempt or if you write it wrongly, so in both the cases he will have deduction of 1 mark. Now if a candidate scored 450 marks, so that means after writing the exam he has scored 450 marks, then so the question is, how many questions did he answer correctly? That means in this question, so in this particular question there is no chance of leaving the question. So if you leave the question also, you are going to get minus 1 mark, right? Now what is the question? So how many questions did he answer correctly? Now since I don't know how many questions he answered correctly, so I am going to consider that as x. So let correct answered questions, number of correct answered questions is equal to some x. Automatically wrongly answered questions I can tell, no? So how many total questions are given? So total questions are 180. Among those 180 he has written x questions correctly, right? That means automatically the remaining questions, so remaining questions means 180 minus x questions he has written in a, so he has written wrong or unattempted, right? So in such case he has 180 minus x questions unattempted or wrongly written. Now since his score is 450 marks, so how will he get 450 marks? So he will get 450 marks after writing x questions correctly and 180 minus x questions wrongly, right? So for every correct answer, so he will get 4 marks, no? That means if he writes one answer correct, that means he will get 4 marks. If he writes 2 answers correct, so he will get 4 into 2, which is nothing but 8 marks. Likewise if he writes 3 questions correctly, then he will get 4 into 3, which is nothing but 12 marks. The same way here we have considered x questions are written correctly. That means so marks obtained by answering correct. So which is nothing but for each question he will get 4 marks. So how many questions he has written? So that means it is nothing but equal to 4x marks are nothing but the marks obtained by answering correct. Similarly marks obtained by answering wrongly. So if he has written wrongly, that means how many marks he is going to get deducted? So which is nothing but minus 1 into 180 minus x. So why I have written minus 1 here? So minus 1 is written here because the marks are getting deducted. So deducted means we need to subtract it. So from this minus 180 plus x. So these are nothing but the marks which are being deducted. Now the sum of these two gives me the total marks. So from this total marks are nothing but 4x minus 180 plus x is equal to, so what are the marks that he has obtained? 450. So from this 4x plus x is nothing but 5x. So this minus 180 if I transpose, it becomes plus 180. So 450 plus 180, so which gives me 5x is equal to 450 plus 200, it is nothing but 650, and which gives me 630. So from this x is equal to 630 divided by 5. So in 5 table 5 ones are 5, so 1 is remaining 13, that means it cancels 2 times, so 3 is remained, so 30 means 5 6 are 30. So these are nothing but the questions which he has written correctly. So 126 are nothing but the questions he wrote in a correct way. So the answer for this question is 126. So if he writes 126 questions correctly, then he is going to get 450 marks. Okay, next, moving on to the next question. It is nothing but the question same as the before one, but here we are going to have the denominations. So a sum of 500 rupees, that means total amount is 500 rupees. So it is in the form of denominations of 5 rupees and 10 rupees. And if the total number of notes are 90, the count of notes are nothing but 90, then we need to find out the number of notes of each denomination. See, if I am having one 5 rupee note, that means I have 5 rupees. If I am having two 5 rupee notes, then I am having 10 rupees. If I am having three 5 rupee notes, that means I am having 15 rupees. Likewise, the amount obtained by these number of 5 rupee notes is nothing but directly proportional to the number of notes multiplied by its denomination value, right? Now, since there are totally 90 notes, so here what I am going to consider is, let rupees 5 notes are X. Let number of 5 rupee notes are X. Then automatically rupee 10 rupee notes are, since totally there are 90 notes, so out of those, if I remove these X notes, then automatically remaining notes are 10 rupee notes, right? Now if I want to find out the amount obtained by these 5 rupee notes and 10 rupee notes, so if I am having one 5 rupee note, that means I am having 5 rupees. If I am having 10 5 rupee notes, that means I am having 5 into 10, which is nothing but 50 rupees. The same way, since I am having X 5 rupee notes, that means I am having how much amount? 5 into X rupees. The same way, here I can directly take 10 into 90 minus X. So since I am having X notes of 5 rupees, so the amount made by those X notes is nothing but 5X, and I am having 90 minus X 10 rupee notes, and each denomination is of 10 rupees. So if I multiply with 10, the total amount made by those 10 rupees is nothing but 10 into 90 minus X. So this will give me the total amount. So what is the total amount? So it will be equal to my 500. Now on simplifying, what I am going to get, 5X plus 10 into 90 gives me 900, minus 10 into X is minus 10X, which gives me 500. Now from this 5X minus 10X, it is nothing but, 5X minus 10X is nothing but, it gives me minus 5X. So minus 5X is equal to, already on the right hand side I am having 500. If this plus 900 is transposed, it becomes minus 900. So from this, minus 5X is equal to 500 minus 900 is nothing but minus 400. So on both sides I can cancel the minuses. So from this, X is equal to 400 divided by 5. So in 5 table, 80 times. So X is equal to 80. That means from this what I can say, the 5 rupee notes are nothing but 80. The same way 10 rupee notes are nothing but 10. So if I want, I can check it. So how can I get it? So 10 into 10. So by 10 rupee notes I am going to get 100 rupees. Next by 5 rupee notes, 80 into 5. So the value of 80 into 5 is nothing but 400. If I add these two, I am going to get 500. So from this clearly I can say that there are 80 5 rupee notes and 10 rupee notes. Next, one more question related to this. A person spent 564 rupees. If each goose cost 7 rupees and each duck cost 3 rupees, and if the total number of birds bought was 108, right? Here also we are going to have the same approach which we have done for the previous question. Now what he has given, total birds are 108. In this, first I am going to consider goose as X. Let the number of goose, let the number of goose be x, then automatically number of ducks will be, number of ducks is equal to 108 minus x, because if we remove these goose then the count will be of these ducks. Now each goose cost 7 rupees and each duck cost 3 rupees. That means the number of goose into cost of each goose plus number of ducks into cost of each duck gives me the total amount spent, right? So from this what I can say, so each goose is 7 rupees and number of goose are nothing but x plus, so this is nothing but the value spent on goose. Next coming to the duck, so 3 into 108 minus x, so these many number of ducks are there, each duck cost 3 rupees, so this total gives me it gives me 564 rupees, so this is nothing but equal to 564. So 7 into x is nothing but 7x plus 3 into 108, so 3 into 100 is 300, 3 into 8 is nothing but 24, so this gives me 324 minus 3 into x, which is equal to 564. Now 7x minus 3x, 7x minus 3x is nothing but 4x, which is equal to 564 minus 324. Now 4 minus 4 is nothing but 0, 6 minus 2 is nothing but 4, 5 minus 3 is nothing but 2. Now 4x is equal to 240, so 4x is equal to 240, so from this x is equal to 240 divided by 4, so which gives me 60, so x is equal to 60. So from this what I can say, so the number of goose are 60 and the number of duck are 108 minus 60, which gives me 48. So number of ducks are bought were 48 and number of goose bought were 60, right? Next, one more problem related to perimeters. Now there is a volleyball court. The perimeter of this volleyball court is 177 feet and length is twice of its width. So already we have discussed. So how will be the volleyball court? So volleyball court will be in the rectangular shape. Now here the given thing is in feet, right? The units are feet. Now one more thing that you need to observe is length is twice of its width. That means length is compared with width. So we know that we need to consider width. So let the width be some x, then automatically length will be twice of its width. Twice means nothing but 2 times. Now already we know perimeter is nothing but 2 times of length plus breadth, which is given as 177. Now 2 times of, now substitute the values, length is nothing but it is nothing but 2x plus breadth is nothing but x, which gives me 177. So 2 into 3x is equal to 177. Now if you observe this, so 7 plus 7 14, 14 plus 1 15. Sum of digits is divisible by 3. That means I can directly cancel this 3 with this 177. So how many times will it go? So 3 5s are 15 and 3 9s are 27. So from this x is equal to 59 divided by 2, which gives me 29.5 feet. So x is equal to 29.5 feet. Then automatically what will be my length? Length is nothing but 2 into 59 by 2, which gives me 59 feet. So breadth is equal to 29.5 feet. So these are nothing but length and breadth of this particular volleyball court, right? Next, coming to question number 17, the last question of this exercise. So he has given sum of the page numbers of on the facing pages of a book is 373. Then what are the page numbers? Now whenever you consider a book, so a book will be like this, right? So a book looks like this. Now if you observe two pages, so these two are nothing but the facing pages. Now if you observe any two facing pages, so two pages will be always consecutive. That means if this page is x, then this page will be x plus 1. So you might have seen the pages of a book, right? Now what he has given, the facing pages. So if I consider the page numbers as x and x plus 1, or we can consider it as x minus 1 and x also. Now he has given sum of these page numbers. So sum of these page numbers means x plus 1 is equal to 373. So from this 2x is equal to 373 minus 1. So 373 minus 1 is nothing but 372. So x is equal to 372 divided by 2, which gives me, so 2 18s are 36 and 2 6s 12. That means this particular page number is 186 and this particular page number is 187. So these two are nothing but the page numbers of the given book, right? So this is nothing but the last question, so which is in our exercise 2.2 of linear equation in one variable. So I think you have understood all the questions of this exercise, right? So if you want to see exercise 2.1, so you can go with my previous video, so which is present in my YouTube channel. And next, so if you like this video, so please subscribe, share with your friends and support my channel. So thank you for the support. So thank you for watching.